Welcome back to Flick Favorites. I'm going to explain a crime, thriller film from 2018, titled, Out of Death. Spoilers ahead. Enjoy the content. Shannon Mathers, a photographer, arrives at Lake Easton remote forest lands in preparation for a trek. She aspires to reach the hilltop where her late father spent the most of his formative years. Shannon is traveling to disperse her father's ashes and say her last goodbyes. She is anxious since she has never been in a remote location before. She begins to enter words in her journal. Unfortunately, it begins to pour severely, making it impossible for her to reach the top of the hill. With a hint of disappointment on her face, she takes up her father's ashes and puts off the task for another time. Jimmy, a drug dealer, is waiting for someone in the bush while appearing to get high in his car. He is asked to reveal his hands by a police officer when a police car pulls up behind his vehicle, but he refuses to comply. Billy, the female police officer, gets in Jimmy's car and they begin having sexual relations. Jimmy then gives her some cash, and after a little while, they begin to argue. Shannon overhears everything, and understands that the police officer is definitely in league with the drug dealer. Then Shannon starts to take photographs of them. However, when Billy looks through Jimmy's phone, she discovers that he has been secretly recording everything that has been said between them and is now planning to use it against her. Jimmy exits the vehicle and begins to flee, but Billy shoots him in the head from behind, killing him instantly. The following scene shows Jack and Pam, who is his niece who he has visited to stay with for a few days. Due to his recent loss of his loving wife, Jack has been given a depression diagnosis. In search of calm away from his hectic city life, he makes his way to Pam's woodland lodge. Sam is the name of Pam's kid, and she works for the mayor. Pam advises Jack to enjoy his trip and that the peace and quiet of the forest will make him feel at ease. Pam informs Jack that there are dangerous creatures in the forest, and he leaves his badge and phone at home before leaving the house with his revolver. Shannon is filming everything with her camera as Billy attends to Jimmy, the drug dealer's body. When she attempts to flee covertly, Billy discovers her and pursues her into the woods. Hank receives a call from Billy informing him that Jimmy's murder has been seen. Shannon must be killed, Hank orders, and his brother Tom is dispatched. Hank tells her to kill Shannon, and sends his brother Tom to help Billy catch her. Tom contacts Hank after visiting the body in the woodland and confirming Billy was correct that she had indeed killed the man. Hank requests that he find the witness and bring her to him. Tom leaves the car with the drugs and the money and heads into the woods in search of Shannon. While on a hike in the forest, Jack encounters Billy, who presents herself as a kind individual and an upright police officer. Billy starts calling Shannon to come out as they become closer. When she eventually speaks up, she declares that she will keep her mouth shut. Billy encourages her to settle down and follows Shannon. She is online with Tom through her walkie-talkie, who asks if she has killed the girl. When Shannon learns this, she attempts to flee, but Billy grabs her and she bites her before Shannon can escape. Tom catches her as she attempts to flee and strikes her in the head, knocking her unconscious. After that, they tie her up and begin conversing. From their talk, it becomes clear that Billy likes Tom but only sees Tom as Hank's dog since she works for him. When Shannon awakens, they approach her and inquire about what she has seen. Shannon promises to say whatever they ask her to. Tom advises them to consult Hank on how to handle the girl. Tom instructs Billy to shoot the girl after handing her the revolver. While Billy is pointing the pistol at Shannon, she begs for her life. Jack arrives in the interim and hears everything. Billy refuses to shoot the girl despite Tom's repeated requests. Jack comes up behind Tom and Billy, tosses a stone in the opposite direction to make them turn away, and then commands them to kneel down and place their hands over their heads. He identifies himself as a police officer and requests an explanation of the circumstances. Shannon, on the other hand, claims that Billy is in cahoots with the drug dealer and that she is the one who murdered the man. Billy makes up the story that Shannon is a drug dealer. When they both begin speaking, Jack advises them to stop and relax. Then Jack announces that everyone is headed to the police station. Jack does not shoot Tom when he climbs to his feet and declares that he is a police officer. After that, Jack and Shannon fled as Billy began to shoot at them. They strike it fortunate, though, since Tom promises to locate them. Shannon enters a neighboring abandoned factory and makes an effort to remove her handcuffs. On the other hand, Jack is trying to find her. When Tom realized Jack and Shannon weren't dating, he and Billy broke up. At the workplace, Shannon finds a knife and takes it with her. Billy arrives in the meantime and attempts to speak with Shannon once again, reminding her that she is a good cop who can be trusted. Shannon stabs her in the foot with a knife as she approaches and then flees. When Billy contacts Tom to explain her position, he responds by saying he is en route. After some time, Tom finds Billy and informs her that Jimmy had been documenting everything and that they won't be in serious danger. He claims that the current state of affairs is out of control and that is why he phoned Hank. Jack greets Shannon as she approaches a pond when she is really frightened and anxious. He promises her that he would not. When they are both seated, Jack requests that she begin by telling him the entire incident. She explains to him what she was doing in the jungle and that a lot of evidence was in her bag, but it somehow fell. They agree to go look for their belongings and meet back at the same location when Jack admits he is missing his phone. However, when Hank gets to the jungle, he notices Billy's hurt foot and assures her that everything will be well. Then, Hank approaches Tom and requests that he kill Billy because she is no longer useful. Tom is saddened by this, but Hank becomes enraged and orders him to do the task. Billy is being strangled by Tom as he begs her for forgiveness. Hank continues by saying that they will now search for and kill Jack and Shannon. Tom claims to have seen a cottage in the woods on his way here. Hank predicts that they will hold Jack accountable for killing Billy. While this is happening, Jack is at the cabin, where he takes his medication, loads his rifle, and departs to meet Shannon where they had agreed to meet. Hank enters the home through the other entrance just as Jack is walking out the back door, but he misses him. While handling Billy's body, Tom on the other hand, tells her he loves her and gives her a kiss. While sitting down someplace, Shannon is gazing at a picture of her father. When Tom arrives and spots her at this point, she tries to flee but is caught by him. She recalls how she wanted to be courageous like her father, how she wanted to explore the forest, and how Jack had told her she is a brave girl as she saw death around her. She then kills Tom with a shot from Tom's rifle. Hank tries to contact Tom, but Tom has passed away. He finds Jack's depression medication and his badge as he begins examining the home. After that, he views a photo of Pam and her family and realizes the dynamics. He calls Pam and pretends to be an acquaintance of her Uncle Jack, and says he wants to see her. Pam gives him Jack's number. Meanwhile, Shannon locates her luggage. When Hank notices Billy and Tom's dead, he moves in the direction of the forest and intends to murder Jack. He makes a call to one of his agents at the workplace and instructs him to bring Pam in for a promotion while preventing her from leaving. Pam gets picked up from her home by the man, who informs her that she will be meeting Hank. Pam feels that something is off about the circumstance. Hank phones Jack and informs him that he is the city's mayor and that Pam is his niece. He insists that if he wants Pam, he must give up Shannon. Shannon listens in on everything. Hank refuses Jack's request that he exclude Pam from the discussion, claiming that he needs Shannon and that Jack was wrong to have killed his brother Tom. Jack responds that his brother was not slain by him. After realizing Shannon killed Tom, Jack concedes to Hank's demands. Shannon flees after becoming alarmed. Hank pursues her after hearing her footsteps. Shannon enters a residence nearby and holds the girl inside at gunpoint until she opens the door. At this point, Jack arrives and informs Shannon of his plan. Shannon and Jack pull off a very smart plan against Hank. Shannon uploads the drug bust evidence on the FBI official site, requesting an immediate SOS. Simultaneously, Jack calls Hank to the cabin, right off Route 92 in Easton Lake. When Hank arrives at the cabin, he finds Shannon pointing a loaded gun at him. While outside the house, Jack guns down corrupt Officer Frank, and rescues his niece. Hank gets arrested and kills himself in jail. Pam becomes the mayor, and Jack is really happy living with her. Shannon comes to their cabin, and takes Jack out for a hike. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to stay updated on future videos. Leave a like to support the channel.